Welcome to Crepe Myrtle Row. My name is Lisa. Today we're going to tour my back porch. I have a screened-in porch. I love spending time out here, and I did a little refresh. I did a tour a couple of years ago, but I've done a little bit of a refresh, changed things up a bit, and I've got you in kind of a wide, zoomed out look right now to show you. But we'll just turn the camera around and I'll go over what I changed about it. Starting when you come into the door there, and I may have told y'all about this. This is an old door. It's really chippy. I love it. And the paint does come off sometimes. I'm needing to put a sealer on it to keep it that way. And I do have shades here because this is a north-facing porch. The sun does come in from the west side there, and it can get quite hot. But let me tell you, these make a world of difference. These I had custom made, and they're also not just for shade, but they're like block so much of the heat. That one is one that I had just found at Lowe's probably 15 or more years ago. It used to be in this spot. That's why it don't quite fit. We just put something there temporarily because I don't really know what to do there. In hindsight, I could probably have had one of these made to fit in that space right there, and then it would have been out of the way because the door opens outwards. But I didn't, so now I'm just got to debate on what I want to put there. And I might could find one already made to that size. These were odd sizes, so I had to have them custom made. But this changed a little bit. I'm still using some of the beach theme. I loved the nautical theme for everything, but I wanted to change it into a little bit of a cottage theme too. So if you've watched my channel for a while, you may have recognized this. Used to be in my living room a couple of years ago before I redone it. And just about everything is thrifted. That's not, my uncle made that back in, I think it says 82 or 83 on it. And then I just put a lot of odds and ends things. I went to the thrift store, found the books just because I like the colors. I don't really care what the book is. I look for colors for books. And most of them are just, you know, $2 books or $1 book hardbacks. Now these two are more vintage style, but they're kind of far enough away from where the rain comes in, it won't bother them. And this cabinet I recently purchased at an antique store, and I absolutely love how chippy and old vintage that everything looks. And that's an old canister I just filled with seashells. And like I say, everything pretty much is thrifted. The greenery I bought at Michael's recently, but all the other stuff is all thrifted finds. And then I have the little anchor there. And my rugs are different colors because when I found them, I found this one, there was only one. I found that one, there was only one. Well, now they could have more, but I'd already taken the tags off. And I wasn't gonna go back and spend more money to get matching ones. I like them both. I like that one, probably that one the best. And then there's that one. Okay, now around here, this is an old, just the wooden furniture like they had back in the late 70s, early 80s. It's the couch, my couch, which is over there, and this chair were both like that. I took the cushions out. There's actually outdoor cushions, the really thick ones under here. In hindsight, I should have just kept the regular cushions and had them covered because they were a lot denser foam than these outdoor cushion stuff. But I just had it painted, and then that way, or I painted it with a spray paint, with spray can, just to make it more waterproof for out here. And then these quilts that I use, these are not handmade quilts, all except for one, and I'll show you which one is. These are just some that are like mass produced, and I pick them up. And I know those pillows don't match and the quilts don't match. I don't care. I picked them up thrifting, And you know, I think the most I've paid for one of these is $8. So, you know, if it gets messed up or whatever, it's not a big loss. And if it rains on it, I can take it in and wash it. I can dry it. And or if it's not too bad, I can just leave it laying here and it dries out on its own. And the same with my pillows. I pick those up at thrift stores, and I look for things that are comfortable that I can wash, because that's the first thing I do is I bring them home. I throw them in my washing machine and dryer. If it's not one I can wash, then I don't worry about getting it too much. But love this, and that is a recliner. It is an outdoor recliner, so I didn't have to cover it up, but I do give it more comfort. And then I collect the little balls on there, and I would have that open, but the sun's kind of glaring in pretty bad. And also to help keep it cool here for the afternoon, I use this crate. Just have a little thing of shells, a faux fern. I could put real plants up here, but I don't, because I'm not going to take care of them. So put that shell there. And then I have some of the insulators across there, and I love sitting out here and eating my meals. And I recently thrifted these chairs that don't go to this table. There were smaller ones, but I like these because they had a cushion. And y'all, believe it or not, I thrifted the material. It's outdoor material to do the cushions in. Got it from a Habitat for Humanity. And then just redone the cushions in that, spray painted them black. And I already had this crocheted tablecloth that fit the table. And I leave this out here, and I just set my plate on it. But I love eating my meals out here. And I can also light these candles. And then I just covered, my husband made that custom hanger for me because I needed one long enough to come out to center my table, and I couldn't find any to buy. And he's a machinist, so he knows how to do these things. So he made that, and I just covered it so it almost makes me feel like a tree branch. Added that little sign up there. But I tell you what I had to do with my table. Because this is bigger chairs, a little bit taller, my table was a little too low to eat at. I mean, you could fit under it, but it felt low. So for the time being, the only thing we could think to do is I had some of these bed risers, and we put them up on that to get it up taller. Well, now it's about 3 inches too tall. I needed something about half of that height to go, but I don't think they make them any shorter. I mean, that would be what would be the point of making the bed risers any shorter than that. So that's what we're temporarily using till we figure out what we want to do. I told my husband he could cut some blocks of wood or something in the height I want it. I could paint them black or something, but he likes it up high. He likes being able to sit there and basically shovel the food in, not have to bend over. But yeah, this is one of my favorite spots. I come out and sit and eat my meals. If I'm here for every meal, I will sit out here nearly every meal unless it's just way too hot. And then we come around here to, this is a gas heater. You know, it has the flames, it has the glass, crushed glass inside and all. And yes, you can have that even though the ceiling is vinyl. It doesn't get that hot above it like that. And then plus we use the fan when we have it on, and it keeps the heat from getting too much up there. But we love it when it's cooler weather and stuff. But I just have a thrifted tray just full of some shells. Now I made this garland out of thrifted pieces. I found these beads, they're like a nut that someone's drilled holes in. I found a bag of those. I found these already made up, and then I just made the garland to go in there. I just have that sitting across the table. And of course I have this footstool in here that I store extra blankets and stuff in. And then here is the couch, like I said, and it's got the outdoor cushions up underneath that. And this actually has 2 layers of blankets. So there's one down there that's more like the thickness of a comforter, and then this is a very thin one that goes over it because I wanted it very comfy. This is where I take naps, especially on Sunday afternoons after church. This is my favorite place to come and lay down, or Saturday afternoons, or really anytime. Just lay around on this couch, you know, play on my phone, read a book, or just take naps. And all of these pillows are recently thrifted. I just happened to find 2 of each one, which sometimes is hard to do in the thrift stores. And I loved the colors, like this one pulls out of that one. That one is an outdoor pillow. This one's not, that one's not. But this side of the porch rarely gets rain coming in from this way. It always seems to come from the west this way, and that would be the east coming in. And if I do see it's going to, I can just take all this in. But I mean, I can wash them. This is a little bit of metallic, but it still says it's washable. And then over here, I have this little vintage, and I'm sorry the lighting's kind of dark in here, but like I said, it's too bright when I have the shades open. But I just keep a candle, and I will give you a bit of advice. If you're having candles out on your porch, keep the lids to put on when you're done. I didn't some of my other candles, and they get so much dust and all accumulated in there. So it's just best to keep those and close them up when you're not using them, to keep all that dust out. And yes, it does get dusty up here. I have to really do a deep clean first time in the spring, and then I'll have to go through and, you know, just like in your house, you have to keep it swept and mopped and dusted. And that is a faux plant that I got from Michael's. My husband couldn't believe it. He thought it was real. That's why I bought it. It looks real and I don't have to water it. And then another thrifted pieces down in there. Just old glass. I need to fill that one up with some shells, but I didn't want to go out to my building to hunt them down. And then I have a collection of fish bottles. So I did keep some of my nautical theme, you know, with the fish and shells and stuff. Added a little thing there, and I love this wind chime. And then over here was the other big change I made. This kind of gives me that Charleston, I'm here in South Carolina if you didn't know, but gives me that Charleston feel to it with the wrought iron and stuff, and then the faux moss stuff hanging down. This piece I thrifted, the little pots I did at different times, and this is, not all of this is thrifted at the same time. I find stuff, I put it up in the hopes that one day I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it, and in this case it worked out perfectly. And then the little greenery, that's kind of a little rubberized fern that's faux that I got at Michael's. Found these 2 candle sconces at Hobby Lobby, and inside of those are these faux candles. They're not battery operated. You have to charge them with a USB thing, and they're controlled with a remote control. I love these. Or you could hang them like that if you wanted to, but I like them like this. And like I said, they're controlled with a remote control, and they do have a timer setting, so like once I turn them on, I can hit 2, 4, or 6 hours, and then they will burn for, I think the charge will last, I believe it said 30 hours on it. So I have it set for 2 hours once I just turned it on now so I could show y'all, but I have it come on around 8 o'clock or right when it's getting dark, and last for 2 hours, and I love those. And the noise you're hearing is my little water fountain I've had for years, and I'll just put some shells and stuff on it, and just sitting on a table I have. And then we have an Alexa out here that we play music, so it's really enjoyable to sit out here at my table listening to my fountain and have some like classical music playing. I feel like I'm in some big fancy restaurant. And then one of the latest things I thrifted was this glass piece. Someone took a picture frame and this glass, and let me see if I can, and these are actual plate. You see how that sticks out? And that sticks out. Those are actual plates and cups and bowls. I mean, not cups, but bowls and stuff like that that someone has glued on there. And then the little clear marbles. And then my husband and I just took Christmas lights and stapled onto it right there. And it looks so pretty at night. It makes it look like stained glass. And then the B-board, that's just a piece he has there. It helps block some of the noise from the HVAC system right there. And in the wintertime, it helps block the wind coming through. And then here's my husband's favorite chair. It's an indoor chair, and that is a handmade quilt. But it's a new one, it's not a vintage one. And of course, you know, like I said, pillows don't match, but I don't care. I buy what works and what's comfortable. And that is his chair. And then I added that sign up there. But let me see if I can zoom back out again and let you have an overall view. But this is where we spend the majority of our time when the weather is, say, above 50 degrees. We stay out here. And even sometimes my husband's, you know, he's got this heater, and then I didn't show you, but that little black thing there, if you turn it around, it's one of those heaters. It looks like a faux fireplace, but it actually has heat. He'll be out here in the middle of winter and it be 20 degrees outside with blankets on and his heaters going. But that is my little sanctuary here. So I hope y'all are having a blessed day, and hope you have a spot like this that you get to go and enjoy and get away from the world and forget about all your worries. And I'm sorry I haven't been on here a lot lately. As I have mentioned, this has been a very whirlwind of a year for me. I've had my son get married, I had a milestone birthday, and then my daughter is due any day now with our first grandchild. So it's been a little crazy. But hopefully I will get back on here soon, maybe with some thrift hauls or something. But y'all have a very blessed day. Bye.